Hi, I'm Dr. Kit Weathers, and it's time for the Root Tip of the Week. Okay, today's coin trick, we're way out in the middle of the desert, and I'm not going to desert you when we show you how to do this. It's a coin and a card, a hole in the card slightly smaller than the coin. Now if we fold the card in half and drop the coin, it will not go through that little hole. And even if you pull on it, you can't get it to do that. And you can let people try that and they'll see that in fact the coin does not go through that hole. However, I can close that together, hold my hand up here, and watch what happens when I push the coin down into the slot. It falls right out into my hand. I'll do that one more time so you can see what we're doing. The coin is now in the little hole between the two. You can even look on the back side. And here we go. We just drop the coin and out it comes. Now how do we make that coin that's bigger than the hole drop through? The secret is very simple. To learn the secret to this and other magic tricks in this series, go to EndoRootCamp.com. Let's start today's Root Tip of the Week with a question from a Dr. Berryman. I think he heard me at a lecture in Iowa, and I'll quote his question here in his comments. He said, "The techniques discussed by you have increased both my success and productivity. My question is, what is the best way to place a rubber dam on a tooth that has a temporary crown?" And there are several answers to that question, and we'll answer all three of them. But I would like to remind you that if you have questions, please send them to the address below, this email address, and if we have time, we'll answer them on Root Tip of the Week. If not, I promise I will give you an individual answer to your question. The email address is kit.weathers@gmail.com. There are no spaces before and after the little dot. I just did that to make it a little clearer. It's kit.weathers@gmail.com. Okay, let's go ahead and answer this doctor's question. What is the best way to place a rubber dam on a tooth that has a temporary crown? Three possibilities spring to mind. You could clamp an adjacent tooth, bond a core into place with the aid of a product called canal projectors, or use a product called Wedgettes from Hygienic Corporation. Let's look at all three in detail. First possibility, clamping the adjacent tooth, is not only a good idea to prevent knocking off the temporary crown. If you're working on a tooth that has a porcelain margin and you don't want to take a chance of the rubber dam clamp damaging that porcelain, clamping the adjacent tooth is a good idea in that situation as well. That's just a bonus tip. Okay, the second possibility for strengthening the temporary crown would be to put your core material in to begin with a product called canal projectors. And this is available only from John Muntz, and here's his information right here. The canal projector is a way of projecting the root canal openings from the pulp floor up to cavo surface, and you can put your core material in right off the bat. Let me just go through and show you a couple of slides from one of my presentations at the Root Camp, and I'll show you exactly what they look like. Here's an assortment of the canal projectors. And basically they're different sizes. They slide onto, boy I got a little fuzzy there for a minute, they slide onto a file, and then from there you put your composite material all the way down around it. Once the core material is injected around the canal projector and it sets up, you can remove the file, and the canal projector comes along with it, as we see here, and then you've got a solid built-up core that will resist removal by the clamp. Okay, the third possibility, and my personal favorite, is a product called Wedgettes. It's a rubber material and it slides between the contacts. When you let go, it holds the rubber dam in place without the need of using a clamp. Now, Wedgettes is one of those products that you do not know you even need it until you need it. Wedgettes is a replacement for standard rubber dam clamps. It comes in a 7-foot length in 3 different sizes: large, small, and extra small. Wedgettes is actually a product that can be used in place of standard metal rubber dam clamps. When would you need such a product? Well, if you're working on a small tooth that's difficult to clamp, like a lower central or a lower lateral, or if you're working on a tooth that has a restoration that could easily be fractured just by the rubber dam clamp being placed. A porcelain restoration, for example, might not be one that you want to clamp. It comes in a container very similar to dental floss. As a matter of fact, you pull it out and tear it off exactly like you would with dental floss. It comes in 3 different sizes: large, small, and extra small. I use the large, sometimes with wide contacts that are not tight, but most of the time I use the small. Very seldom do I use the extra small. Then you stretch the product very tightly and gently work it down between the teeth. And then you can trim off the excess material, and when it comes time to remove it, simply take a pair of cotton pliers, grab the little piece that's left, and gently slide it back. Don't try to pop it up through the contacts. It's going to probably scare the patient or maybe even snap their lip. But just bring it gently through the contact. Wedgettes are inexpensive, easy to use. They won't damage restorations, and they're certainly not going to pop off like a metal rubber dam clamp is prone to do. Give them a try. I know you're going to like it. Well, that's it for another Root Tip of the Week. I'm Dr. Kit Weathers, inviting you to join me at our very next Root Camp. So long for now.